we present our paper, Navigating the Virtual Gaze, Social Anxiety's Role in VR Proxemics at SIGCHI 24. This work was conducted by Beatriz Mello, Robin Welsch, Marissa Christien Verbokkem, Pascal Knierim, and Martin Johannes Dechant. In this work, we explore the intersection of social interactions, social anxiety, and the realm of empathetic computing within virtual environments. Social interactions are fundamental to our well-being, encompassing not just the exchange of words, but also the subtle cues like gestures, glances, and facial expressions that convey our emotions and intentions. The field of empathetic computing seeks to enhance our interaction with computers by enabling them to render, understand, and respond to these nonverbal cues, making technology more intuitive and relationships with virtual agents more meaningful. Virtual human-like agents stand at the forefront of this innovation, serving as bridges in human-computer interaction. They mimic social behaviors, potentially transforming how we interact with digital worlds. However, the effectiveness of these agents is entangled in complexity due to the diverse ways individuals perceive social cues. This variability is pronounced in people with social anxiety, who interpret these cues differently, often leading to avoidance or discomfort in social situations. Social anxiety is characterized by an intense fear of being evaluated by others, ranging from experiencing elevated anxiety symptoms in certain situations, such as giving a speech, to clinical levels. Social anxiety manifests through behavioral, physical, and cognitive symptoms. Behaviorally, individuals might exhibit withdrawal and avoidance tendencies. Physical symptoms include blushing and trembling or even excessive sweating in social situations. On the cognitive side, social anxiety can lead to biased recollections of social events and the feeling of being observed when they are not. These biases extend into virtual environments, where individuals with social anxiety may maintain larger distances from virtual agents or avoid eye contact, behaviors that emphasize the subjective nature of social cues like gaze direction and personal space. Social virtual reality platforms like VR chat offer immersive experiences that can either exacerbate social anxiety through potential harassment or enhance social satisfaction through a sense of co-presence. The design of empathetic computing systems, particularly in social VR, must therefore navigate the nuances of social cues, personal space, and individual psychological traits to foster positive interactions. In conclusion, empathetic computing and virtual human-like agents have the potential to revolutionize our digital interactions. Yet, achieving this goal requires a nuanced understanding of human psychology, particularly the varied experiences of those with social anxiety. Our research stems from the hypothesis that individuals with social anxiety might interpret and respond to virtual cues differently, affecting their comfort levels and interaction preferences in virtual spaces. By understanding these nuances, we aim to contribute to the design of more empathetic and inclusive virtual environments that cater to a broader spectrum of users. Our study employs a simulated social VR scenario to study the role of gaze and interpersonal distance in these social encounters, while taking social anxiety in consideration. We utilized a stop distance task to objectively measure the comfortable interpersonal distance maintained by participants in relation to virtual human-like agents, exhibiting varying gaze behaviors. Our experiment was structured to explore both static and dynamic gaze conditions, including centered and averted gazes. Participants had to imagine a scenario in which they were in an unfamiliar location, asking a stranger for directions. First, participants approached a virtual human-like agent until reaching a comfortable distance to then assess their subjective feeling of being looked at. After, the virtual agent told whether to press the white or black button and disappeared. Two buttons would then appear on the wall, and after pressing the indicated button, participants turned around to initiate the next trial. Here you can better understand the gaze manipulations used in this study. In the static centered gaze condition, the virtual human-like agent's gaze was constant and centered at the participant while its approach. In the static averted gaze, the virtual human-like agent's gaze was also constant, but averted at 15 degrees, as you can see. Regarding the dynamic conditions, the virtual human-like agent's gaze was shifted in response to the participant's approach. In the dynamic gaze condition, gaze shifted in response to the participant's approach. In the dynamic-centered condition, the virtual human-like agent's gaze was averted at the beginning of the trial by 15 degrees and gradually centered. In the dynamic averted condition, the agent's gaze was centered at the beginning of the trial and gradually averted to the right or left. After the experimental phase, participants filled in a fast motion sickness scale, gave general demographic information and information about previous virtual reality experience. Participants also rated the virtual human-like agents regarding their gender and emotionality. Finally, they filled in the iGroup Presence Questionnaire, the Leibovitz Social Anxiety Scale, and the Triakic Psychopathy Measure Screening. Therefore, the effects of social anxiety traits was studied as a continuum within the general population. Our analysis revealed fascinating insights into the interplay between gaze behavior, interpersonal distance, and social anxiety. Our results show that generally, participants preferred closer distances for centered as compared to averted gaze, and they held the closest distance when the gaze was dynamically centered. However, we also found that social anxiety significantly affects this preference, with socially anxious participants showing a reversed pattern for gaze and proxemics preferences. They kept the closest distance when gaze was averted. These nuanced findings highlight the complex relationship between virtual cues and individual user characteristics, underscoring the importance of designing virtual agents that can adapt to and accommodate users' varying social comfort levels. The implications of our findings extend beyond the realm of virtual reality. By incorporating insights from our study on gaze and proxemics, designers can create virtual environments and agents that are more engaging, inclusive, and sensitive to the diverse needs of users, particularly those with social anxiety. You can find our paper in the ACM Digital Library and our data and analysis in the OSF repository, along with our pre-registered hypotheses.